Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we have to talk about the whining of Rachel Zegler. Yeah, I know, I thought we were done with that too, and her career was in shambles, and she's trying for a comeback yet again. And of course, instead of changing the behavior that alienated her from the entire audience, she doubled down. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? Well, let's talk about it. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I'm trying to get to 50K, and I can do that with your kind help. It'll be really easy if you double check you're still subscribed. If you're not, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications, and hit the thumbs up button. And then, if you think of something along the way to say, put it in the comments section down below. Let's jump into this because it's written in a lot of places now in various ways, including over on That Park Place. You can also find it on Geeks and Gamers and many other places as well. So, Rachel Zegler doubles down on radical racial rhetoric as comeback attempt begins. This is by our friend Marvin Montanaro and That Park Place. If this is meant to be the beginning of Rachel Zegler's comeback tour, it's off to a rough start. The actress, who found herself at the center of Disney's troubled live-action Snow White remake, is once again drawing attention after speaking with Harper's Bazaar UK about the backlash surrounding both the film and her public behavior over the past few years. Yeah, she's absolutely crazy. Nut bar. Just insane. She's all about identity politics and she doesn't understand anything else. What she also doesn't understand is that that's not going to help her career any at all, not one bit whatsoever. And that's a problem. In Hollywood, you need the audience to like you so you can get cast in things. But if you go out and offend 70% of the audience, you are not going to get the other 30% super hyped about you either. And even if 30% does show up, that's not going to be enough for you to open a movie, especially going forward these days. But rather than signaling a change in tone following the collapse of the film at the box office, Zegler's latest comments appear to continue with the same exact messaging that helped make her one of the most polarizing young figures in Hollywood. And you know what? That's not surprising to me, probably not to you. In fact, I've done previous Rachel Zegler videos and Snow White videos right up there. You can check those out. But in the interview, Zegler framed the criticism she's faced largely through the lens of identity and public expectations. Of course she did. She's such a narcissist, she only focuses in one place.
I was told I wasn't enough of one thing for West Side Story and too much of another thing for Snow White, she said. It was really confusing time to be in my early 20s and hearing that. I grew up being a proud Colombian, eating the food, wearing the dresses, and drinking coffee, doing all the things that were so intrinsic to who I was as a kid and who I am now as an adult. But I do think that there's an argument to be made that in the public eye, at least, when you're two things, you're simultaneously nothing. But I refuse to assimilate for anybody else's comfort.
Translation: I'm a spoiled kid trying to identify as one thing and not admitting that I am multiple things. Most of us are. Most of us are hybrids. We were born to parents that they themselves were hybrids. Nobody's a quote-unquote pure blood, and that's the one thing she seems to be prattling on about. Not only that, this is deeply offensive, especially to somebody who is of multiple races or even mixed race. This is insanity, and it's not a way to bring the audience back to, well, your dying career. At least, again, not as I think so. When discussing the mental toll that the backlash has taken on her, the actress also spoke about the role therapy has played in helping her process the experience. Therapy? Come on. She's too tone deaf to recognize that she created the whirlwind herself, and then she reaped it. That's not good ideas. That's not good planning, and it's not a good therapist. Wow. What's going on in the therapy community these days?
I long for the time when it's not taboo to talk about and explore in a way that is universal and accessible,
Zegler said.
Everybody deserves to understand what's going on in their own mind and heart.
Lady, your therapist didn't help you. Quite clearly. This kind of an interview is going to get out, not just to the audience for Harper's Bazaar. No. You might feel safe there in the moment. The interviewer may have made you feel safe. But right now, you're not helping your career. You're killing it. You're killing it, Smalls, and you really shouldn't be. You got little left. At one point, she also appeared to acknowledge the scale of the backlash that followed her comments over the last several years. If I'd been able to predict anything that would come my way, the threats to my public safety, yeah, right, I would have just thrown the phone into the ocean, she said. I think any sane person would have. And yet, here you are, flapping your gums all over again. Snow White was in catastrophe. In fact, you cannot point to a profitable movie you've ever been involved in because you've driven nothing but backlash with your public comments for the last several years. Your Y2K film tanked like crazy, and for an independent film, they really need to make money. And nobody there, aside from the people who were paid to do a job, got any money from that. And that's awful and sad. And all of it is because of the Snow White controversy that never went away, that basically her misbehavior drove. Disney's live-action Snow White faced scrutiny long before it ever reached theaters just because of her. The project was surrounded by months of debate about its creative direction, political messaging, and the studio's attempt to reimagine the classic 1937 animated film for modern audiences, which was stupid and literally cost Disney everything, including the family audience. Zegler herself became one of the most visible faces of that debate after repeatedly criticizing elements of the original movie in interviews. And look, the article goes on, and I would encourage you to read it either at That Park Place or over on Geeks and Gamers. There are two different versions of basically the same concepts. And I'll just tell you, she didn't learn anything. Everything about what she's done in her career has been making a disaster of what should have been successful projects. Had they just done a shot-for-shot remake of 1937 with actual dwarves, I think this could have been a success and would have led her to a very profitable career. But instead, because of her terrible attitude, her crippling narcissism, and her stunning ignorance, she's basically got nothing left to pull from. She can make it to Broadway for a few weeks at a time. She can maybe get some independent roles here and there. But as far as a big movie role, do you think anybody's going to cast her ever again? But hey, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Do you think that Rachel Zegler has a comeback in her? Do you think that the situation is beyond repair? Is she capable of behaving like a normal adult with some kind of emotional intelligence? Or do you think she's just so self-centered that there's nobody else in the world when she's in the room? Let me know your thoughts, as I said, in the comments section down below. As always, be sure to take care of yourself. Take care of others, and until next time, see ya. Just not talking about Rachel Zegler.